Well, hello everybody. What I need to do with you today is I need to cover section 2-4. Believe it or not, we're going to spend 3 class periods on section 2-4. I got a part 1 today, I got a part 2 next time, and I got a part 3 the time after. The reason I did that is we're going to spend some time today reviewing. I won't review it on the video here just because of the length of the video, and hopefully you know what you're doing. But we did take some class time to review today. That's that part right here. That probably took us about 30 minutes to get through. But what I wanted to make sure is everybody's doing really good on how to find slope, how to graph a line in slope-intercept form, how to graph a line in standard form. So a lot of review. And then we went over writing equations of lines. Overall, it wasn't too bad. So what you're going to see on some slides early, these happen to be the answers to your worksheet from last time. So if you have that in front of you and you'd like to check your answers, make sure that you understand what you're doing, there's the answers. Remember, I won't pause. I won't wait very long on you. You can always pause the video and compare answers. But there's what your next group should look like. I just kind of put it to where you could see what the slope should have been. And there's your numbers 16 and 17. There's what number 18 should have been. Let me also point out, though, it's really important for you to have your labels on here so that we know what they were. Like I said, you can pause the video at any time and compare answers. There's what 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 should have looked like. I put some review on there, which is fair game at any time. What you're going to see on the next few slides after this is the review that we did in class. So what I did is I paired people up or let them work with their table partner, and we just went through these. The reason I have them on here so that I could go over them with the class after I give them a little bit of time to work on it. So we reviewed section 2-1. I gave them a few minutes to do this, and then I showed them the answers. And then I had them graph those, then I showed them the answers, or we talked about what the answers should have been. Same there and there. So just some review from last time, because we will quiz over this material next time. And I won't review with you right before. So that way you have this sheet right in front of you to look at. So if you get that sheet done, if you need to come in and compare it with my answer key, that'll work. So like I said, we'll quiz on that next time. You should have in front of you then, these are our class notes for day 4. It should say section 2.4, and you should see day 4. So that's what we got. I grouped them into 3 different areas today. We're all writing equations of lines. And when we're all done writing an equation of a line, it's going to be of the form y equal mx plus b. That's what our final answer is going to be in. We're going to use a different form to get there. And I'll show you what I mean. But here's my type 1. I'm going to give you some information. You're going to give me the equation of that line. So I'm just going to start here. Look at the line y equal 2/3 x minus 4. I'm going to have you state the slope, which you'll look at it and say, hey, this is already in slope-intercept form. So the slope happens to be 2/3, and the y-intercept happens to be -4. Well, now think about this. If you knew the slope and the y-intercept, could you have given me the equation? So for instance, guys, pretend that you didn't see this right here. Pretend it's gone. Could you take this information and tell me what was there? And yeah, y equal mx plus b. So going backwards, I would have y equal 2/3 x minus 4. That's all we're doing today. 1, 2, and 3 are really, really easy. I call this my type 1. And then type 2 and type 3 get a little tougher. So here's number 1. I'm going to tell you the slope is 1/3, and the b value is 7. So the equation, y equal 1/3 x plus 7. Done. Our goal is to have it look like that at the very end. Number 2, my slope is -5/7 and the y-intercept is 12. Y equal. You got to have that y equal, otherwise it's not a line. y equal negative 5/7 plus 12. So your goal is to know the slope and the y-intercept. Number 3, the slope is 6, the y-intercept is 1/2. Hey, don't always assume the slope is a fraction. In this case, y equal, my slope is 6, so I got 6x plus 1/2. Looks backwards, but that's all it is. I call those my type 1. In my type 1s, you're given the slope and you're given the y-intercept. So, let me come to the next little piece here. My type 2 looks like this. It says you're given the slope and a point on that line. All the lines today will end up in the form of y equal mx plus b. Well, I need to figure out what's going on here. So what I'm going to do is come down and look right here, then I'm going to come back up to my next one. So point slope form of a line. Here's our equation for slope. Hang with me for 1 second. I'm going to put slope over 1 and I'm going to cross multiply. So I have this. I have y sub 2 minus y sub 1 equal m times x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay, this, guys, is called point slope form of a line. We will use this form to get to this, y equal mx plus b. And to make things a little easier for you, we're going to lose these subscripts, the y sub 2 and the y sub 1 and the x sub 2 and the x sub 1. To make life easier for you, I'm going to write this as this. I'm going to say y minus y sub 1 equal m times x minus x sub 1. If you will, make sure that is your formula down there where it says point slope of a line. This is going to be key. We're going to use this on the rest of the problems to obtain our final answer. So y minus y sub 1 equal m times x minus x sub 1. Now, come back up to number 4 and let me show you how we're going to use this. I'm going to give you an m value. I'm going to give you an x sub 1 value and a y sub 1 value. We're going to plug those into the formula. So it's going to look like this. I got y minus y sub 1 equal m times x minus x sub 1. In place of m, I'm going to plug a 3, so I'm going to plug a 3 right there. In place of x sub 1, I'm going to plug a 2. And in place of y sub 1, I'm going to plug a 5. So it's going to look like this. I've got y minus 5 equal my slope, which is 3, parenthesis, x minus 2. Notice I left the first x and the first y alone. Now, we're just going to simplify this. So this becomes y minus 5 equal, distribute, so I've got 3x minus 6. Now solve this thing for y. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides as I run out of room. So I'm going to get y equal 3x minus 1. There's the equation of a line that has a slope of 3, and when we graphed it, we'd go through the point 2, 5. I could check it by plugging in a 2. Let me erase some of this stuff now. I could I could check it by plugging in a 2 right here. 3 times 2 minus 1, and that equals 5, the value that I need to see. So guys, every time we're going to write down this equation, we're going to sub in the numbers, and we're just going to go to work on it. So here goes. Look at your number 5. I taught both methods, but I think this year we're just going to teach the one. So ignore my line there and ignore the line on yours. My slope is negative 2, and we're going through the point negative 4, 6. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to have y minus y sub 1 equal m times x minus x sub 1. I'm going to go y minus. Now come over here and look at your y value. It's 6. So I've got y minus 6 equal my slope, which is negative 2, x minus, and look at your x value, it's negative 4. So now I'm going to have y minus 6 equal negative 2x. A negative and a negative make a positive. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Add 6 to both sides. So I've got y equal negative 2x minus 2. So we wrote down the formula. We subbed in y sub 1, we subbed in m, and we subbed in x sub 1. And then we just simplify it. Like I said, last year I taught it 2 ways. This year we're just going to go with the 1 way. So we can really ignore that. I could even color it in so I could write over it better, I guess. But I won't. So here goes number 6. My slope is 2/3 through the point 6, negative 3. So once again, y minus y sub 1 equal m parenthesis x minus x sub 1. Now go sub things in. My m value is 2/3. My x value is 6. My y value is negative 3. So I've got y minus negative 3. And I hope you think, okay, Wayne, minus a negative is really a positive, so let's go ahead and just change that to a positive right off the bat. So I've got y plus 3 equal 2/3 parenthesis x minus my x value of 6. Now let's distribute. So I've got y plus 3 equal 2/3 x minus, and you can use your calculator. You'd go 2/3 times negative 6. I'm going to do this. 3 divides into 6 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. I'm going to minus 3 from both sides. Ending answer, y equal 2/3 x minus 7. These are easy to check, guys, on a test, a quiz, a homework quiz. Plug in 6 right here. Go 2/3 times 6 minus 7 equal, and you better see a negative 3. If you don't, you messed up somewhere. So easy to check. Here's our number 7 and number 8. What I did is I went through these and I had them try a few. So here's number 7. My slope is 2/5 through the point negative 10, negative 8. So y minus y sub 1 equal m times x minus x sub 1. I'm going to have y minus, come get your y value, which is negative 8. And you're right, 2 negatives make a positive. So I got y plus 8 equal 2/5 x minus, now come get your x value of negative 10. Once again, let's take care of the 2 negatives. So it's also positive. So here's what I got. I got y plus 8 equal, distribute, I've got 2/5 x. Like I said, you can do this in your head or your calculator. 2 fraction key 5 times 10. I'm going to go 5 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 2 is 4. So I know that number is going to be positive 4. Because a positive and a positive make a positive. I'm now going to subtract 8 from both sides. So I've got y equal 2/5 x minus 4. Notice all of my answers, guys, at the very end look like y equal mx plus b. Every one of them looks like y equal mx plus b. Here's my number 8. Once again, let's go y minus y sub 1 equal m times x minus x sub 1. I'm going to have y minus 6 equal negative 3/4 x minus negative 12. 2 negatives make a positive. So now I've got y minus 6 equal negative 3/4 x. And in your brain or your head, negative 3/4 times positive 12, a negative times a positive is a negative. 4 goes into 12 3 times 3 is 9. And then to bring it home, add 6 to both sides. So my ending answer, y equal negative 3/4 x minus 3. So there's what we got going there. Now, I set it up in class, guys, so number 9 and number 10 you could try. If you'd like, you could pause the video, try these two, make sure that you understand what you're doing before you look at my last 3 examples. So if you'd like, go ahead and pause it. I'm going to go ahead and go through it so that if you paused it, I'll tell you the answer. So if you'd like to pause it, pause it. If not, you think you're good, this answer should have come out to be y equal 2x minus 7. And this answer should have come out to be y equal negative 3/2 x minus 11. So that's what you should have got. It's important that you know how to do this because my number 11, 12, and 13 use this same equation. There's just one baby step in front of it. So let's look at our last 3. Number 11, 12, and 13, I call the type 3 because there's a couple of things that you got to do. Notice that here you're given 2 points. You're given 2 points. But can you tell me what's missing that the ones above it had, but these don't? And I hope that you said slope. So the key thing that we got to do here, guys, we got to find the slope first. Got to find the slope first. And then it's just like what we did before. So remember slope? Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So I'm going to get 8 minus 5 is 3 over 3 minus 2 is 1. So in this case, my slope is 3. Now, our next step is you pick whichever point you want to work with. So I'm going to pick this point right here. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we've been doing. I'm going to go y minus my y value of 5 equal 3 parenthesis x minus my x value of 2. Let's distribute y minus 5 equal 3x minus 6. Let's add 5 to both sides. So I've got y equal 3x minus 1. I won't do this on every problem. Let me show you what would have happened if you would have picked this point instead of this point. Here's what it would look like. I would then have y minus 8 equal my slope, which is 3, parenthesis x minus my x value of 3. Let's distribute. So I got y minus 8 equal 3x minus 9. Let's add 8 to both sides. I've got y equal 3x minus 1. Okay? Moral of that story, it doesn't matter which point you pick. You're going to get the same answer if you do the work correctly. So here's number 12 and number 13 coming your way. So number 12, what I need to do first is find the slope. So I'm going to go 14 minus 2 over negative 12 minus 4. 14 minus 2 is 12 over negative 12 minus 4, be careful, negative 16. But that'll reduce. 4 goes into both of them. So my slope is going to be negative 3/4. So there's my slope. Now, pick whichever equation that you think looks easiest. So I'm going to pick that one. I meant point, not equation. So here goes. I'm still using y minus y sub 1 equal m times x minus x sub 1, y minus 2 equal my slope, which is negative 3/4, x minus negative 12, minus negative, so let's just change that to a positive 12. Now let's bring this home. I've got y minus 2 equal negative 3/4 x. Negative 3/4 times 12, you could do it in your brain or your calculator, but you're going to get negative 9. Let's add 2 to both sides. So I'm going to have y equal negative 3/4 x minus 7. So there's what we got going so far. And I had a different answer on my answer key, so I'm hoping that I didn't make a quick error there. My slope was negative 3/4, y minus 2, negative 3/4, x minus... You know what, guys? I did mess up. Let me quickly redo this. Do you see my error? And I didn't do that on purpose. I wanted to use this point, but I picked this x value. So here's what I should have had. Sorry about that. I try not to make any errors ever, of course, but x minus x sub 1. Here's what I should have had. Y minus 2 equal negative 3/4 x minus 4. I don't know why I just showed you that you can't pick a point from each. Let's distribute. So I got y minus 2 equal negative 3/4 x. A negative and a negative make a positive 3. Add 2 to both sides. So I got 3/4 x plus 5. Sorry about that error. And then one last one. If you understand what you're doing, you're good to start the homework, but I'll go through this one. You're given 2 points, so first let's find the slope. My slope's going to be 14 minus negative 6 over 10 minus 2. 14 minus negative 6 becomes 20 over 8. Let's reduce that. Looks like a 4 goes into both of them. So 5/2 is my slope. It doesn't matter which point you pick. I'm going to pick that guy. So I'm going to go y minus negative 6 equal 5/2 x minus 2. Notice I picked the correct points this time. So this becomes y plus 6 equal 5/2 x minus 5. You can do that in your head or your calculator. Subtract 6 from both sides. So I've got y equal 5/2 x minus 11. To check these, which you'd want to do on any test or quiz, guys, plug in 2 right here. So you would go 5/2 times 2 minus 11 equal, and you better see a negative 6. If you don't, you messed up. And then you also have to go 5/2 times 10 minus 11, and you better see 14. If you don't, you messed up somewhere. Go find your error. So there's what you did last time. So homework-wise, guys, what you'll have is you'll have the day 4 assignment. And you'll have that day 4 review that we did in class. Because you'll never do anything in my class that I don't give you some points for. So there's section 2.4, day 1. So good luck.